What's up, guys? That's my car back there on jack stands again. I think I broke it. I actually don't know what's wrong, but so intermittently I can't get in a second, fourth, or reverse. I really don't know what it is. It's got the brand new Speed Factory shift change holder assembly, so unless I actually broke something and it's like lodging itself in there somewhere, I'm not really sure. Or like the spring broke. I don't really have an idea, to be honest. But the trans is coming out again. While it's out, I'm gonna replace the input and output shaft bearings, and try and fix the issue, because it's intermittent. Like 85% of the time, it won't allow me to go into second, fourth, or reverse. But sometimes it does, like no problem. So I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna fix it. I was actually contemplating sending the trans out to Synchrotech and having them try and take a look at it and tell me what's wrong with it and stuff. I think all said and done, it'd probably be about $700 total to, you know, labor, fixing what's wrong with it, and then shipping. So it's kind of expensive, but if it's warranted, I might do it. But yeah, so I'm not gonna bore you guys with pulling it, but we will look at it together and see what failed. So I'm gonna get cracking, and then we'll catch up later. All right, my dudes, trans is out. It's only been like an hour 10 or something like that. Doing it yourself is not really it's not really that hard, but so yeah, I'm about to get these bolts undone, take out the, fuck it, I'm just gonna skip to it. Okay, now I got this pried up a little bit. Let's see what we find. Huh. Wow. Looks like a screw came loose. I'm missing a screw. What the fuck? And it's in there. And just as I thought, it being down there is blocking the shaft from moving forward, which is second, fourth, and reverse, and stopping the shaft from going into gear intermittently, because it's like loose, like bounces around, but it's right there. So I don't know if it broke. I think it just might have came loose. I am going to take it out and Loctite it, and then honestly, I think we can put it back in and send it. I actually think I'm still gonna order the bearings though. I'm gonna feel them out real quick, see what they feel like after another drive, I guess. And yeah, that pisses me off, but that also makes me very happy that it's not something major. What's up, my dudes? So it's been about a week since that last clip. Got my bearings in the mail today, so we can finish handling this junk. So since I pulled the trans apart because I was having that shifting issue, found out it was the bolts backed out of the shift change holder assembly, and one of the bolts was causing the shaft to stop being able to move forward to go into second, fourth, and reverse intermittently. So I decided the trans is out, the noise is still there, so I'm going to just replace all of the bearings, and hopefully that clears out. Before we do that though, I'm going to pull the differential out. I'm going to pull the counter shaft out, and I'm going to put the case back together with a couple bolts and spin the input shaft and listen to see if I can hear any noise. And then after that's done, if I don't hear any noise, obviously I'm just checking to see if like the bearings, which bearings it was, to be honest. But I'm gonna put the counter shaft in, make sure they mate, get it a couple bolts in, get the bearings seated, and then spin the input shaft again to see if maybe it is the counter shaft bearings or the output shaft bearings. I'm just trying to find out which bearing it is. I am replacing them all again, so it doesn't matter which one it is as long as they fucking, you know, fix. I'm trying to get this noise going. I don't want to fucking hear the noise. But yeah, so that's what we're doing today, and we're gonna try and get this thing finished up. In this video, we'll probably get it back together as one unit, but So yeah. Alright, bet. So I've got the shafts pulled out. I'm going to install the input shaft and put the case back on. Spin it, see what it sounds like. Hopefully there's no issues. I'm also, whenever I do take it out, after I do this test, I'm going to put this in the top of the case and see what the clearance looks like with the top bearing in the case. I talked to a transmission specialist, and they said sometimes the bore in the case is a little bit too big for the bearing. I don't know what I'm gonna do there, but we'll see. Okay, input shafts in. Let's do a noise test. That noise is that tab that sits in the case. I do hear some noise, but that just could be the bearing with no fluid in it, obviously. But alright, now that we have what that sounds like, which that's not really good, but let's open it back up, put the counter shaft in along with it, and see what if it makes a different noise or something. Alright, now that we got the case bolts tightened down, I'm going to tip it over on its side, tap the case against a surface, and that bearing should plop into place. It may even just plop as I flip it over from the weight of it itself. But once we do that, then I can spin the input shaft and see if I can hear a different noise or a noise on top of what we just heard. So, and boom! It's locked into place. Alright, bet. Let's see if we hear a different noise. I still hear input shaft bearing noise. I don't hear anything on the other side. So, I'm just going to go ahead with replacing all the bearings. I'm also going to check the bearing into the case, make sure there's not a lot of play, and then we'll get back to replacing these bearings then. Alright, got the case back off. I'm going to pull the shafts, bring the other case half up here, and check this bearing in that bore. I'm also going to pull this bearing and check it by itself in the bore. That way I can see if there's any play that I'm not seeing when the shaft is in there. Alright, let's see what information this brings. Alright. It's in. but I can't tell if this movement is the bearing or the shaft. Now this would be held still. Alright, I'm gonna pull this bearing off and check it in the bore and see what we find out. Alright, we got the bearing off of the shaft. I actually used an axle puller to pull it, but it's whatevs. I'm gonna test fit it in the case and see if we've got any play. It does not feel like it just falls in, so that's good. That one does sound kind of noisy. I don't know why it would be though. I don't know. I can't feel any movement play. Well, let's get it replaced anyways. So, fuck it. Alright, I'm not sure if you guys can see this or not. Right. Well, anyways, this port right here, I thought it looked weird, and it's actually full of material. So I am going to get it unclogged and check all the other ports on the shaft. That might have been why it wasn't getting any oil, or why it may have failed, because this port is clogged. So I'm gonna take care of this, see what we can do about it, and then we'll put it all back together with the new bearings. Alright, I'm gonna try and do this the best I can, but if you want to listen to this bearing and listen to the noise it makes. This one makes like kind of a little bit of a gurgling noise. Now, we're going to spin the new bearing. It's on the input shaft already, but spin the new bearing. Basically nothing. Now there's like a little more sound because it's a brand new bearing, but it's not intermittently like choppy or a shh noise. It just sounds like a rolling ball. So that's good. If that clears this shit up, I'm going to be so fucking stoked. Alright, so next we have to get the counter shaft bearings off of the top of the shaft. There's a nut on top, right up here. This gets torqued down to 80 foot-pounds when you get it off. And yeah, so these two bearings will get replaced, and once those are on, then we can put it back together. Alright, I got this counter shaft set up in the vise, and I have 2 blocks of wood on the drive teeth so I don't like damage the teeth with the vise. So this will give us some grip so I can get this nut off. This nut's torqued to 80 foot-pounds, so let me grab a socket real quick. 32 millimeter socket. Boom! There's a washer spacer. Good bit of material up here. Glad I pulled this thing. See if we can use our slide hammer and grab this bearing. I doubt it. That already looks like it's not going to happen. No, I can do this another way, which I probably will. Alright. We're tapping it on the floor. So how you do it is basically put a piece of wood at the bottom, flip the shaft upside down, or put a piece of wood on the floor and tap the shaft while holding the gears on the ground, and then all the weight and the momentum of the gear set will push the bearings up off or down off of the shaft. And then putting them on, you'll have to use a socket, tap it on lightly, you should be good. So let's take care of that. Wow guys, this thing sounds like shit. It didn't sound bad on the shaft, I'm not sure what, but listen to this. And it's gritty as fuck. That's crazy. Let's get the other one off. We got the other bearing off. See how that one sounds. Not good. So I'm hoping that, I don't know why they would have went bad. I didn't install them incorrectly, so I'm like not really sure, but we will see. That's for damn sure. Alright, now let's get these bearings installed. This bearing sounds probably sounds great. Perfect, perfect. Now we can put on our washer, put our nut back on, put it back in the vise and torque it to 80 foot-pounds. Alright, got my torque wrench set to 80 foot-pounds. Now I wanted to use a 1/2 inch because this is a 1/2 inch socket. I have to use an adapter. Hopefully this is just going from 3/8 to a 1/2 inch. Doesn't take away much torque, but yeah, so I didn't torque this the first time I used the impact gun, so let's see what happens. Let me tighten this a little more, it's slipping. Make sure that's tight. Well, it clicked. Let's torque on that. Just make sure it's tight. And I think it's tight. It clicked. So, yeah, that's tight. After you've torqued it on top of the nut, just like an axle nut, you have to hammer that in so it's locked. And as I torqued this to 80 foot-pounds, I used the gun last time. The nut actually got a little tighter than it was before. Not sure if that's an issue or not, but it tells me that I may not have had it I may not have had it torqued tight enough, and that could have caused some issue that unknown to me. But now that it's torqued, let's lock it in place, and we can finish off with the last 2 bearings in the transmission. All right, let's get these bearings out of here. Now, it's a pretty unorthodox way of doing this, but found that only 2 of these will actually go down inside the bearing hole in some fashion. Like so, and yeah, boom, just like that. Okay, I don't think this bearing was bad. Actually, I don't know if you can see that. When I spin it, it's going like it's tugging. I can feel it in the bearing itself. Yeah, hell yeah, listen. Oh, you can't hear it, but yeah, it's like tugging, tug, tug, tug when it slows down. So that's not good either. Fuck these things. Now, the most troublesome bearing I'm gonna have to get out is this one. It's just so difficult to get out because there's nothing really that I have that can get behind it to grab it. Hopefully this tool will help me with that. I don't know if it will get behind it, but as long as it can pull up on something, I can get the bearing out, which then would be perfect. But let me go ahead and slide this bearing in quick. Just gonna wipe out some of the old, dirty, cruddy fluid that's in there. That gives us a good surface to smack. Try and make the center a little bit before we start hitting. Bet. Now it's time for the difficult one, which is this one. There's one bolt that holds it in, and then you have to pull it out. That's gonna be a pain in the dick hole, but whatever. Let's see what we can do. That was easy. Dang, this thing's fucking awesome. Oh my god. Well, maybe, it's maybe because I'm holding it. It doesn't really want to spin. I guess it's because I'm holding the bearings though, but it doesn't sound horrible. It's probably still alright. Take this cap out, clean it real quick, and install our final bearing. This is how easy to rebuild this, well, to put bearings in this transmission is. I mean, I had the trans out in an hour and a half, and to put bearings in it, I've been here maybe an hour, 2 hours, and that was with recording, and so it's not very hard. As long as you have the right tools and know what you're doing, it's pretty easy. Now on the diagram I saw for the book for this car, whatever bearing, transmission, there was a hole at the top of the bearing. Now on this one there isn't, but I'm gonna do like I did with the rest of them and make sure the letters are facing upward, and then we should be good. Put it right back in, and we'll be finished. We'll just have to put it all back together. Good there. Alright, let's get this bitch back together. Alright, I got the seal replaced. I got the rest of the bearings in. The bearings on that shaft are all done. Basically, we can just throw it all back in now. And I hope that it's fucking fixed. This fucking sucks. You know when you build something and you want to drive it and you can't? Yeah. Kind of like that, because it is that. What's up, guys? So yeah, this video is spanned over like 2 weeks, and I do apologize for the lack of uploads, but having to wait for parts and shit like that, it's kind of annoying, but it's whatever. I just got up out the house and we're headed to the garage right now. Actually, I'm gonna go pick up some gloves, and then we'll be on our way to the garage, and we'll try and get the trans in today, and then hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to drive it. Alright, so we hit the garage. Only thing to do now is to put this bitch back in the car. We're gonna seal the case, put all the detent springs in, put the clip on the bearing. Basically, just put the case back together, and then we can start putting it back in the car. And I also bought a fuel filter to replace that one. That one's been in there for a couple years, so I think it's time to replace it. I don't exactly remember how long it's been in there, but it's not a bad idea to replace it. And we'll see if that helps any of like the hot start issues. But yeah, so let's get this sealed and let's get everything back together. Alright, so as you saw, I fucking forgot the magnet. Whatever, pulled it apart, put it back in, resealed it. I just gotta get the bearing seated, put the disc drawn in, which I'm probably gonna use thread tape because I've used sealer before, no problem. So I'm gonna try thread tape. If it leaks, I can always pull it back off. It's not that hard to change out. So I'll put some thread tape on this, lock it in place, get the bearing locked in place, and then it'll be ready to go back in the car. So let's see what happens. Alright, this bitch is back together and it's time to go back in the car. Alright, so I'm about to put this trans in now. I'm not really gonna go through like a step-by-step. Just gonna get this bitch in and yeah, maybe we'll get her, maybe she'll be started today. Actually no, she won't be started today. I want the sealant on the trans to cure. So that means it needs 24 hours from right now, which it's about 3:30. So tomorrow after 3:30, if everything's in, come in and put fluid in the trans, start it. Should be good. And we'll see if the noise is gone. I'm also putting the full exhaust back on, like I said before, so I can actually listen and hear and see if the noise is gone or whatever. Hopefully it is. I'm also going to be putting on the, I just received my Gates, well, not just, but I think like last week I received my Gates Blue Racing timing belt. It's supposed to be more durable for high RPM and high horsepower. Even though it's saying high horsepower, I am revving high, and since the stock belt kind of shitted on me, I want some more insurance. So I'm going to be putting that on as well. I'm trying to get a set of adjustable cam gears before I put the timing belt on, so like by tomorrow maybe, because I want to adjust them a little bit, especially on the dyno, to see if I can carry or have more torque and power in the higher RPMs by adding more overlap, and just see what type of power we can make. I would like, now the intake manifold is restricting me from possibly having the air capacity that I need, but I would like to see it peak power around 8,500 so I can rev a little higher, but we'll see, I guess. And yeah, so let's get cracking. Hi fam, so the engine, the transmission's in. I'm going to start, I'm probably gonna just put the header on and go home today. I'm fucking cold, it's fucking freezing. And tomorrow I'll come back, do the timing belt. I'm trying to pick up a set of cam gears before I do the timing belt so I can just do it all at once. But we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, we'll catch up back tomorrow and finish this bitch off. Hi, what's up fam? I'm back. I had to pick up some Woodruff keys, and I also picked up a set of cam gears as well, so that when time comes I can adjust them, a little more overlap, make a little more power up top or something. But my buddy hooked me up with a set of BWR cam gears, and I had to order Woodruff keys for the cam gears because stock cams have it built into the cam gear. But I picked up 2 of them. If you need the part number, it is 90741657000. That's the part number if you need them. And yeah, so let's get this timing belt off get the new timing belt on, new cam gears on, and we gotta get trans fluid in it. Take it for a spin. Oh, and we're putting the full exhaust back on, so that too. Probably not gonna go into much detail. I'm just trying to get this finished, but if I can put in a couple clips, I will. So you guys aren't like left in the not know. I should start making these videos a little bit shorter and giving progress as it comes instead of waiting until something is done, because it can take a week or two. So I might start cutting up the videos a little bit more and just releasing them as they go, because I don't think you guys want to sit through a 30-minute long video or 50-minute long video, and they're fucking difficult to make because they're so goddamn long. But yeah, so I'm gonna get this engine at top dead center, pull the valve cover, and then start taking the timing belt off and get the new cam gears in. Oh wow. Why did I think the Woodruff key was built into the cam gear? Huh. Wow, okay, well, I guess I didn't need those Woodruff keys then. Good thing I have them. Alright, cool. And while we're installing these cam gears, I'm removing the back cover, because as you can see right here, the belt was rubbing, and up here as well. I don't like that. I don't want it to rub. I don't want it to break. So that's gone. Time for these bad boys. I have them both zeroed out, so there's no timing at all. Yeah, basically they're zeroed out, so there's no adjustment at all yet. One thing I'm not fond of with these cam gears, I mean, it's not really like a big deal or anything, but if you can see, the BWR is covered up by the bolt. So I'm gonna see if maybe I can change these out to make them look nicer, but it's gonna work, so I'm not really that mad about it. Old belt out, new belt in. All right, so I'm gonna get this wrapped up real quick, and then we'll catch it back up and possibly go for a drive and show you what it looks like. All right, guys, belt is on, cam gears are on. I removed the top rear cover, and I don't have the outside cover, front cover on either, because they were rubbing. So I'll give you guys a look and see what it looks like. Oh man, it just looks so good. Like the color, the red and the black, it's just the color scheme goes together with the car, obviously. So, but man, that just looks so good. You know what my favorite view is? This one. I don't know why, but I love how like you can see like the top of the valve cover goes with the fender, and it kind of like rolls over with the top of the car. But it just looks so good to me. Wow. Can't wait to adjust those on the dyno. Hopefully within the next month we'll have some dyno time before Street Wars. There's a Street Wars event at Cecil County in March. I believe it's March 8th. I think it's a Sunday. And definitely trying to attend. I have slicks. I have 22-inch slicks. I just need the wheels so I can mount the slicks. And I would like to have skinnies by then, but you know, whatever. If I fucking rock my Steelies for the rear, I don't care. But yeah, so Street Wars, definitely gonna try and be there. It's so I have high expectations. I probably won't hit it. Whatever, I'm just gonna do my best. A low 13 would be great. A high 12 is what I'm shooting for. And I hope that after getting some dyno time and making hopefully 180 wheel, that will put me, hopefully. I'm not saying it will. I don't know if it will or not. With the D16, I trapped 96 miles an hour with a 187 60 foot, and my fastest pass was a 13.87. So I'm expecting like 104, 106 with this setup, and hopefully with good RPM and you know, a nice burnout, the tires get nice and sticky. Hopefully 169, 174 60 foot, hopefully. And I just 12.99999 would be perfect. I'd be happy. But yeah, we'll see what it brings. This is all I'm gonna get done for tonight though, because the valve cover on the ends where the caps are, I put a little bit of sealant. I have to wait for that to dry before oil gets to it, or else it just won't seal. So I'm gonna come back tomorrow. I know this video is extra long. I apologize. I'm gonna try, when I edit it, it's probably gonna be a lot shorter. I'm gonna try and cut it down. But the only thing I have left to do is to put trans fluid in it, hook the clutch cable up, put the header on, and shift linkage, and put the wheels on. And then we can go for a drive. And see how she should drive the same. Hopefully the bearing noise is gone. If not, we're gonna fucking send it, because that's what we do around here, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow, and we'll go for a drive. What's up, my dudes? Back at it again. It's got a few things left to do, and then we can take it for a drive and see if the trans noise is there. So I'm gonna get cracking. Gotta do alternator belt, battery, intake, header, trans fluid, and linkage, and then we'll be golden. So I'm gonna knock most of this out, and then we'll get on to the driving portion. Well guys, it's all back together, and I put the full exhaust on, so I'm going to prime it because it's been sitting for like a couple weeks. Prime it with oil, and then fire her up. I gotta get the laptop plugged in, make sure everything is Gucci, make sure there's no fuel leaks, because I also replaced the fuel filter. So let's get her primed and start her up. Should be nice and quiet now. Yo, these timing gears spinning, bro, they look real nice. She's purring like a kitten. Like a fucking kitten. AFR is like 13.0, cold start. I'm happy with it. Let's go for a small drive. Alright, she's idling pretty good. I'm gonna take it for a little spin and listen. I'm gonna get on the highway for a little bit and listen to the noise and see. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to record it or not, but we'll see, and see what it sounds like. Maybe it needs like seat time or brake-in time or something, but it doesn't sound as bad as it garage and go over everything once again and make sure everything's Gucci, and we'll be on our way. Well, that was a success. I mean, I don't really hear the noise anymore. Or even as loud. Maybe it's still there. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. The more I drive it, I guess. But everything seems alright. Car's driving well. Just gonna look over everything, make sure nothing's leaking, make sure everything is tight still. And then, yeah. So, but that'll probably be it for this video, guys. So sorry about how long it takes to fucking upload and get shit done. I'm gonna start making smaller videos and chopping it up, so whatever. But thanks for sticking around. Like, subscribe, comment, share, if you will. Alright, so listening back to the video, I still hear the noise. It sounds different though. It doesn't sound as pronounced, but it's definitely still there. I don't know what it is. The bearings are brand new. I put them in the correct way. I don't understand. Maybe it'll go away. Maybe it just needs some break-in time. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll see, I guess. Stay tuned for maybe some dyno time soon. Later, my dudes.